number 28, a very special presentation of Copperheart. Sort of. Well, it's not really Copperheart. It's, I'll shut up and let me talk. This program contains mature language and situations. Hello, Copperheart listeners. I have bad news, followed by good news, followed by more good news. The bad news, because who doesn't want to hear the bad news first to just get it out of the way, is that my central computer has gone kaput. Crapped out, gone off, died, melted down, it's done. The 14-year-old computer has had its share of upgrades over the years, but the processor and motherboard are very old and very proprietary. I've had repeated lockups and blue screens and RAM sticks frying out, and that has cut my production capabilities by 90%, which, let's face it, is an arbitrary number, which means a lot. I can still do some things on an old laptop I have, and I get a fairly good 30 minutes to 45 minutes out of the old machine before it goes again, but it's simply not enough to try to struggle my way through keeping up with a regular production schedule. And there's way too much about to happen in the Copperheart plot, which means I really want to take some time to polish scripts. Hell is about to break loose at GL51, Jack and Heather are about to be in a world of shit in EL27, and we're not done with things going into or coming out of the alien cube known as Archimedes. The good news is, thanks to our patrons, and I'm going to name them all here, Alex Woods, Alexei Gladilovich, Bard Stein, Bob Graff, Brad Goupel, Brooks Bigley, CP, Carrie Bernstein, Dwayne Farver, Emily Harrington, Ethan Richards, Johnny Boy, McAngus, Martin Saville, Matthew Armstrong, Michael Velez, Naris Howell, Ostium, Rebecca Flowers, Shipper's List, Sholem West, William Gilbert, Zachary, and Zoe McAden. And with special thanks to my friends, George Pasenica, Ray Volk, and Sholem West. I have been able to order the parts needed to get a new computer up and running within about 3 to 4 weeks. In fact, I'm expecting most of the parts to arrive today. My thanks also goes out to my personal IT guy, Jason Pupik, for helping me pick the parts and put it together. Everyone should have a handyman and an IT guy. Thank you, Jason, so much. Now here's what we're going to do, and here's where Good News Part 2 comes in. I'm not going to skip weeks, and I'm not just going to leave you with a brief announcement that says we're taking a break. Instead, I'm going to give you a couple of weeks of treats. This week, I'm going to share with you one of our patron exclusives. This is the commentary track for Episode 1, Part 1. Please bear in mind that this was my first shot at making a commentary track, and as I was doing it, I kept thinking of a million other things to say because I could go on forever about what it takes to make this show. But it is what it is, and now you can listen to it for free. If you'd rather skip this special episode and hold out for the continuation of the Copperheart story, please feel free to skip to the next podcast in your player, and we'll see you here next week. For the rest of you, please enjoy this commentary track of the first part of our pilot episode. Oh, and if you'd like to be a contributor to the show, because I'd really like to make a season 2, once we get past the holidays, I'm going to see where we stand, and hopefully we'll be able to keep the show going. If you want to become a patron of the show, go to patreon.com/Copperheart, and you can find out there about all the perks you can get, including this one, which you are about to hear, with my thanks. Thank you so much for listening to the show, for being a fan, for being a patron, and thank you. Thank you for listening to audio dramas and podcasts and keeping the art alive. You are our world. All right, here we go. This program contains mature language and situations. Please see our show notes for an advisory specific to this episode. Discretion is advised. Now, when I started working on Copperheart, I've always had this opening scene in mind, with the low rumble of the ERV passing by the camera. That's another thing. To me, this entire production is very visual. We didn't start with the Blue Danube. My go-to that I really, really wanted to have was the Hollies, The Air That I Breathe. It just fit so perfectly, and everything about that song just fit this moment great.
4 years is too much with you jokers.
You're the one with the sock problem, Hickson.
He wore socks? Hickson, you wore socks?
Now this is
Nice music selection, Captain.
Ray and Allison and Graham and Chris.
Don't you think it's a little overdone playing Rocket Man every time an ERV departs the station?
And I gotta tell you, I didn't have a lot of foreknowledge of the actors. I had no idea what their resumes were like, and I had no idea that Chris Magilton was not American. His Capcom is perfect.
You done? Done?
Yeah, next time we'll play some Garner's death metal.
Now we're talking.
Ugh.
Capcom, it's done. How's your outgoing signal?
Oh, no, Don, you're not going to get us to change the station that easily.
No jokey one. We're getting some interference.
Solar flares? None were expected. It was supposed to be a...
Yeah, the breakup of the sound was
Oh my god.
quite the chore, because what I did was I split the audio track and opened half-second gaps to cause that stuttery static thing.
Oh my god.
I know there's no sound in space, but it's an audio drama.
God. The whole station. All those...
By the way, Ray, who plays Hickson, got the part because he's an old college friend of mine. He's also on the Steamrollers Adventure podcast, and he wanted to do it. So I gave him a part where he will die within the first 5 minutes.
Help me out here, Dunn. It's like guiding an angry whale through a mud bath.
The angry whale through a mud bath has come back to haunt me so many times. As I wrote it, it was the first metaphor that just spilled out of my mouth.
60% over to the H-gens.
On it! Commander, watch it! They're coming right at us! Why don't they turn?
Brace for impact.
Boom. And then we go into the beautiful theme, composed, performed and conducted by, well, he's not really conducting it if he's performing it. Composed and performed by Astral Fogg, who is Jeff Fogg, and you could find Astral Fogg on iTunes. It's Fogg. Astral.
A Rig Stories audio drama.
Graham Rowett gets the honor of being the first intro voice to the show on the first regular episode. I just love this music. A lot of people have. I've gotten a lot of good feedback on Jeff's work. It's just amazing. He did the soundtrack for this entire episode. Later episodes, it's just canned parts that I was able to use on my own. And we open camera tracking
United
in
States Reconstruction Bunker. Groom Lake,
the voice of
Nevada.
Iris,
Area 51. Population
played by Sarah Ruth Thomas.
2,208, including
Now, I was a huge Titanic buff as a kid growing up. The numbers that she's giving are the number of the passengers of the Titanic, the survivors, and the 705 military. That would be the survivors, and those who died would be the number of civilians.
21 days. Time remaining.
The time for nuclear winter is kind of arbitrary. It does kind of fit into the plot at some point. But research-wise, I think anything after 20 years would have been relatively safe, even with global thermonuclear war. Actually, to be on the safe side, I would stay down for 60
Monthly
years.
Senior staff meeting, sublevel 4, East Cafeteria.
And here we meet most of the rest of the cast.
Grab your seats, people.
There's the first page you can hear for Dr. CERN. You will hear that a lot, and there is a reason for it.
Come on. Fill in those
Jared as Major Baxter, already exercising authority against Alicia, who is playing Rhoda.
This seat's taken.
That's Brian Penaloza as O'Bannon. And this opening scene also introduces the dynamic of Penarski and Luder. Now, the background chatter during the cafeteria scene, I actually had some canned background chatter that I got from someplace. I think it was freesound.org, and it was Creative Commons Zero, so it was open use. And because it was Creative Commons Zero, it didn't cost anything, no attribution or anything like that. Because of that, it wasn't really the greatest. I mean, it works out fine here, but I did have to meticulously go through and find the woman who, in a very loud voice, said, "Whose empty bag is this?" So, yeah, "Whose empty bag is this?" repeated so many times, I was almost going to call this episode, "Whose empty bag is this?"
O'Bannon here was just wondering if you coached soccer back in the day.
When I was in middle school, we did have a creepy soccer coach like that who acted as a substitute teacher sometimes.
Would you stop? Yeah. Would you stop? I don't get what you see in that asshole, Luder.
Seeing... Oh, but we're not a...
Hey, Luda!
And there's Jake Schiller.
All right. Now the kindergarten is over.
One of the difficult things to work here was to give you the impression that Penarski got up and walked away. Schiller took his seat, slipping right in next to Luder. I think it sounds okay.
Well protected and productive.
I love Jared's delivery as Baxter. It's like so measured and like real dickish.
Clip to your front breast pocket, lapel, or collar. Distribution is random, and we will rotate who has the cameras every 3 weeks. And make sure Penarski gets one.
Well, so much for random.
We didn't discuss this in our meeting, Baxter. What the fuck are you trying to do?
At ease, Director. It's in the USRB bylaws that you signed.
Bullshit! This is a fucking fascist move, and you know it! I want to see those bylaws.
I said.
Oh, earlier, Alicia, when she was talking about the amount of days that they've been underground waiting out the nuclear winter, she pronounces it nuclear.
You guys have your own
I've gotten some feedback on that. People don't like it. They don't like that nuclear has been pronounced that way. It's wrong. But I will say this. It's on purpose.
Clips to the front of your garment. Schiller.
Victoria Wan is awesome as Baxter's right hand, Lieutenant Simcoe. Those of you who follow the lore of the Heart of Brown stories will note that there is Simcoe in the Clockwork Looking Glass novel. There is a Simcoe in the Steamrollers Adventure podcast, and they are all related.
Lutz has a point. Why don't you guys with the guns have to wear them?
Because we aren't the ones fucking shit up. We're the law and order down here.
Schiller wasn't actually a character who was going to be in the show at all, but
all right, listen up. Anyone who has a problem with this...
Kenneth Faircloth Jr. had auditioned for the role of Penarski, as did Aya Islam, who actually plays Penarski. I was going for a particular voice. I really loved Ken's audition. He wasn't Penarski, not at all. But he instantly came off to me as, hey, this guy is Penarski's buddy. And
we still have a lot to go through.
Kind of a ladies' man, or thinks he is.
Director, these cameras won't work in the Archimedes lab.
That's been noted, Dr. Ogilvy.
Sneak peek of Dr. Ogilvy, played by Dylan Chambers. Another situation where two people were going for the same role. Dylan and Rupert Fulhurst were both up for Kipling. Kipling was going to be is going to be a fairly major character. Dylan's delivery and the uniqueness of his voice just made him perfect for that role.
I know.
But because of other things, other wheels I have in motion, Rupert pretty much has to be Kipling. So I created the role of Ogilvy, just like I created the role of Schiller.
O'Bannon, you're with me.
Yes, sir, Major Baxter.
Simcoe, I want you in the
Props to Emil Haig and Marina Sandoval for being my multilingual PA system voices. And again, a page for Dr. CERN. Report to psychology. Dr. CERN is the staff psychologist. You'll meet her later.
She said localized.
Meaning what, Dr. Kipling?
Most likely an object impact. Possibly a meteor strike or satellite debris.
We've definitely had more of that since the International Space Station started breaking out.
Dr. Albee is played by Jen Avril. She's actually a character. She is actually a cast member of the Steamrollers Adventure podcast, seasons 2 and 3 so far. She plays Connie Ross in season 2. She's an awesome role player, too.
Way ahead of you, Dr. Albee.
As is Rupert. Rupert is also on Steamrollers.
Albee, would you check in with Pinbrook? Make sure the medical staff has been alerted.
I have already alerted Dr. Pembroke, Director Rhoda.
Thank you, Iris. Never mind, Ash.
No problem. I'll check in with him anyway.
One of the subtle things that I like that keeps popping up is how Iris keeps interrupting Rhoda. She doesn't really do it with everybody else, but she does it with Rhoda, and it kind of cracks me up. Alicia constantly having to say, "Thank you, Iris.
Give me that.
Thank you, Iris."
Looks like
Oh, the smashing of the camera is me just slamming my foot down on a pile of twist ties. Oh, earlier, the debris against ERV-1 when the space station explodes, that's mostly me shaking a rotisserie cooker.
I know. It's not that, Ma. I was just hoping that since I'm graduating and all, you and I can have that talk.
Arthur Morisi as Jim Rhoda, that's another part that I created because I loved his voice.
You said that yesterday.
It was just a little too high a register for Penarski, and I believe Dunn. He also went for Dunn.
What was that word you said?
But I had the thought in my head of it would be cool if I could have like a Wesley Crusher from Star Trek, like brilliant kid who ends up saving the day in some cases. So I asked Arthur if he'd be interested in that, and he did.
Can you believe that asshole? Fucking body cameras. What's next?
If there was room somewhere down here, I'd say internment camps.
I didn't realize this until I was well into the editing process, but I've got a hell of a lot of Nazi references in this.
So, what's the plan, Chief Engineer?
I've got Schiller sounding the walls on the west side. You're welcome.
Toolbox and Tool Sounds were a combination of canned sound effects and me rooting through my garage.
Thanks, but I can handle that pig.
I use a Tascam DR40 to capture Foley.
Sure. What's the game?
Okay. How about fuck, marry, kill?
Little change in Fogg's music there. Something lighthearted.
Okay. Haven't done that one in a while. Okay.
This is the original fuck, marry, kill dialogue that was in here. I had debated long after this episode was pretty much in the can. I had debated going back and changing this out and having them do fuck, marry, kill with like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman or something like that to sort of use pop culture references people would get, because this being the first regular full episode, they don't know the other characters yet. So they don't know who Kipling and O'Bannon are, besides O'Bannon's got a bad mustache and Schiller smells.
Schiller, Kipling, O'Bannon. Go.
Okay. I thought you were going to give me a hard one.
That's what she said.
Dick.
Well, that's the joke, yes.
You're an ass. Okay,
I love the chemistry between these two. Haley C. McCarthy and Aya Islam are like...
That's totally not the way I saw that playing out in my...
I know I'm the producer of the show, and I casted them, but it would be so cool to hear them in other things.
I fuck O'Bannon because he's in good shape. Except for the porn stash.
It's just a cool dynamic.
Doesn't make me puke like Schiller does. I'd marry Kipling because he's gay. And a great guy. Very neat. I'd kill Schiller because he's a disgusting pig with an odd piggy smell who won't leave me the hell alone.
It was Rupert Fulhurst's idea for Kipling to be gay. And I immediately went for it because I was hoping to have a really well-rounded cast.
Fuck Baxter, marry O'Bannon, and kill Ogilvy.
Fuck, that was fast.
Actually have a great plot idea for that as well. I don't believe we're ever going to meet Sean, his fiance, boyfriend, husband, but there will be references to Sean throughout the story.
Security unit SW35.
Fuck. Not SW35.
SW35 is kind of an Easter egg. That's a reference from 2001: A Space Odyssey. The unit that failed on the dish was the AE-35 unit.
24 meters, approximately 72 meters above USRB surface level.
Iris, do you know what caused the camera to fail?
Insufficient information. All monitoring systems were functioning at 98% efficiency or better within 2 seconds prior to the earthquake.
Iris,
I've got a lot of
still working?
Easter eggs and references to a lot of my favorite inspirations.
Can you give me control of the adjacent cameras on this pad?
Stephen King, Stanley Kubrick, Spielberg, Lucas.
Fucking Baxter.
Iris, please grant Dennis Pinarski
Hitchcock.
full access to all perimeter cameras.
Access privileges changed. Chief Engineer Pinarski now has full perimeter camera access.
Thank you, Iris.
You are welcome, Systems Engineer Luder.
Holy shit! How'd you do that?
I said please. You think Baxter or Simcoe ever said please? It's a little something I was able to work into Iris's protocols. Besides, we're friends.
That is correct. Systems Engineer Luder and I enjoy girl talk periodically.
Just tell me you haven't taught her how to play fuck, marry, kill.
Oh, that can be interesting.
It did cross my mind at some point to actually have a scene where Iris is playing fuck, marry, kill, only because it struck me as I wrote that, what would an AI say in that situation?
Stop playback.
What?
What was that? There, camera 47. Take it back about 30 seconds and use the scrubber.
What the...
The scrubber sound effect for the camera controls, that's basically a bleep, a button push bleep sound that I multiplied and crammed next to each other.
Delta wings and that looks like a vertical stabilizer.
We have to tell Rhoda about this. Pinarski, what about your body cam? If Baxter finds out about this...
Let's just say I misunderstood the directions, and I thought it was a colonoscopy probe.
Ew.
And yours?
This is great delivery.
Wasn't specific about what garment it should be attached to. So when we stopped at the lockers, I clipped it to my coveralls.
Ah, and since you never wear those...
Ding ding, the man wins a prize.
Gentle musical transition here going into our final scene.
Is there any way to tell if anyone's still alive in it?
Not from this angle.
And I believe this is where we introduce Dr. Pembroke.
Camera 47 has the best angle.
Played by Hedley Knights.
That thing looks torn to hell, but mostly intact.
It's
possible that there are astronauts still alive out there. We have to retrieve them before they're exposed to radiation for much longer.
Not to mention the cold.
Hey, we just found...
No, Iris just told us.
Way to wreck the reveal, Iris.
Apologies, Chief Engineer, but my protocols include notifying all senior USRB personnel in the event of something like this.
Did you notify Baxter?
Major Baxter does not wish
Now,
to be...
technically, Baxter should have been disturbed regardless because of the nature of the emergency. However, as will be shown later, there is a certain something that's going on in the background that gives Baxter the under no circumstances will you interrupt me. And you'll find out about that in a few episodes. And then we go on to part 2.
Allison Brandt as Commander Morse.
Yay!
Ray Volk as Hickson.
Yay!
Graham Rowett as Dunn.
Yay!
Chris Majority
I'm just going to applaud.
Sarah Ruth Thomas as Iris.
Jared Worley as Major Baxter.
Alicia Atkins as Director Rhoda.
Aya Islam as Penarth.
I couldn't ask for a more
as
amazing cast.
Victoria Wan as Lieutenant Simcoe.
Kenneth Faircloth Jr. as Schiller.
Brian Penaloza.
Now, majority of the characters,
Chambers
majority of the
as
actors
Dr.
in
Ogilvy.
Copperheart were chosen
Jen Everett
because
as Dr.
their
Albert.
voices fit
Rupert
the
Fullhurst
characters
as Dr.
I
Pepper.
had in mind.
Hedley Knights as Dr. Pepper.
That goes for everybody.
Arthur Marisi
And the
as
ones who were
James
added
Rhoda.
later, like Ogilvy and Jim, those were ones I didn't, characters I didn't know should exist in this universe, but have to, because they're If you'd like to find phenomenal.
out more about the show or other awesome projects of our incredible cast, visit www.rigstories.com.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this commentary track. And if you have any questions, if there's something on here I didn't answer, and I may have, I mean, I could barely hear it as I'm recording this, although I have a lot of it committed to memory. If I missed an Easter egg or something, or is there something that you suspect is an Easter egg, ask me. I'll let you know. And
Copperheart was written, produced, directed, and edited by Michael
I hope
J.
you continue to
Tune in
enjoy the
next
show.
Sunday.
I will
Find
do
out
the
how
commentary
Forrest
for
Strike
part
Baxter
2
and
of
Rhoda and
GL
Pembroke find at
5101
Until then, have a safe and happy week.
as soon as I can. Thank you for listening.
And that was our patron-exclusive commentary track of GL5101A. Next week's special treat is going to include trailers or clips from other productions our wonderful cast is involved in. And in 2 weeks, we'll be thrilled to welcome you back to our regular production schedule with episode GL5113. Have a great week.